Is Caitlin Clark a bigger under 30 star than any under 30 star in the NBA?
Yes.
I think she is
Absolutely.
too. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't even think that's a debate.
Did you hear what Bill Simmons said about Caitlin Clark? The veteran sports writer and podcaster isn't just complimenting Caitlin Clark, he's declaring her a phenomenon. And not just by WNBA standards, but even NBA as well. According to Simmons, Clark outshines nearly every under 30 NBA player. Let that sink in.
It looked like Bill Simmons definitely believes Caitlin Clark is bigger than any NBA player. Guys, we're finna dive into this story.
This isn't some casual hyperbole. This is Bill Simmons, with a reputation for being brutally honest, crowning Caitlin Clark as basketball's newest global superstar. When Simmons said there's no debate that Caitlin Clark is a bigger star than any under 30 NBA player, you could almost hear the collective gasp from the Caitlin Clark haters.
Toward just the quality to play is more fun to watch, but she seems to be some sort of catalyst that is just, it's like before and after, and now we're in the after.
Even Adam Silver, the NBA's commissioner, couldn't help but tip his hat to Caitlin. He literally said, "Caitlin Clark set the world on fire." When the commissioner of the NBA is openly praising a WNBA player, you know it's real. You can almost hear the under 30 NBA crowd gritting their teeth, trying to act unbothered while secretly Googling how to outshine Caitlin Clark. Spoiler alert, you can't.
Caitlin Clark is the face of basketball moving forward. Not the WNBA, but basketball, including the NBA.
Simmons didn't hesitate to make it clear, it's not even a debate. Imagine the shockwaves that statement must have sent through the NBA locker rooms.
We know Caitlin Clark is a global star in women's basketball, but now is she even more popular than the top NBA players?
Every young gun in the league, your Ja Morants, Zion Williamson, and Anthony Edwards, is probably staring at their phones right now, wondering how the rookie phenom from the WNBA is stealing their spotlight. You just know someone's group chat is blowing up with texts like, "Wait, this is about her?" Yes, gentlemen, it is. And it's about time you made peace with it.
The topic is Caitlin Clark. Is she the biggest under 30 star in basketball? I believe she is, and I don't even think it's close.
Caitlin Clark didn't just waltz into the WNBA. She stormed the gates, kicked them open, and declared herself queen. 11 records in her rookie season. 11. That's not just impressive, it's downright disrespectful to the history books. Meanwhile, the NBA's future stars are struggling to keep their ankles intact, let alone break records. Simmons wasn't being shady when he said this isn't even up for debate. He was just spitting facts.
When I told y'all that the views was down for the NBA, people said, "Oh, it's because of the NFL season. It's because of this. It's because of that." No, the NBA has been exposed by who? Their little sister, the WNBA.
That's right. The WNBA has been getting more props and popularity than the NBA this last season. And the reason behind this sudden surge of popularity? You guessed it, none other than Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation.
Somebody put a comparison graph on the interest levels and the searches for the players that were mentioned above. So here's a graph here that shows Caitlin Clark and Victor Wembanyama. Here's a chart here showing Caitlin Clark and Luka. Here's a chart here showing Caitlin Clark and Anthony Edwards. And here's one showing Caitlin and LaMelo Ball. And as you can see from the charts here, there is far more interest in Caitlin Clark than any of these basketball players.
Can you believe this? I mean, this is a historic milestone, not just for Caitlin Clark, but for women's sports as a whole. Caitlin Clark has been searched more than the rising NBA talents on the internet, more than Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, and LaMelo Ball. This is so groundbreaking because there are very few instances of male athletes being overshadowed by their female counterparts, and this one is definitely one of them.
So if you have someone who's special, who comes into their game, you've changed the league. You've changed an industry. And that's what Caitlin Clark has done. Caitlin Clark has changed the industry. She is bigger than the WNBA. There is not a player in the NBA right now who could come in and be bigger than the NBA.
That is very interesting. You see, Caitlin Clark's league, the WNBA, was relatively unknown and has had very little success in terms of popularity and fame. Now, if you look at the NBA, it is already a well-established league with a huge following. No NBA rookie can achieve greatness bigger than the NBA itself. But Caitlin Clark has outgrown her own league and maybe even the NBA.
Is Caitlin Clark a bigger under 30 star than any under 30 star in the NBA?
Yes.
I think she is.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't even think that's a debate.
Her stardom, in a way, it has changed many conversations about sports, I feel like, especially women's sports.
I literally did not care about women's college basketball 10 years ago in any way, shape, or form. So I think some things have moved toward just the quality to play is more fun to watch.
Did you hear that? Bill Simmons confesses that he didn't care about women's sports before Caitlyn entered the fray, and frankly, Bill Simmons isn't alone. In fact, the majority of the WNBA fans out there are not long-standing fans. They didn't start watching the game before Caitlyn Clark. Believe it or not, this statement speaks volumes about the kind of attraction she has over the fans.
The Adam Silver been trying to figure out a way to implement Caitlyn Clark in the NBA in some shape, form, or capacity. I want to know why. Because Caitlyn Clark is box office. You need Caitlyn Clark because just like I told y'all, dog, the viewership is down. The NBA is in a major heap of trouble. The bigger the W is, the less popular the NBA will become.
That's correct. Caitlyn Clark is box office, not only in terms of popularity, but in her game as well. Clark didn't just dominate on the court, she moved the needle. WNBA viewership soared to its highest in 25 years, with an average of 657,000 people tuning in to watch. That's not a bump, that's a tsunami of interest, all thanks to her. The NBA can't even get people to stop scrolling TikTok during free throws, and yet here's Clark, dragging eyeballs to a league most casual fans couldn't name 3 teams from just a year ago.
If Caitlyn Clark today decided I'm not playing basketball anymore, the WNBA might crumble. It might realistically crumble because every move they're making right now is based on her presence, her impact.
This couldn't be further from the truth. WNBA is on a pedestal, all thanks to Caitlyn Clark and her amazing fans. If Caitlyn stopped playing in the WNBA right now, the stadiums would get deserted once again with TV ratings falling below the ground, and social media stopping coverage of the W as if it doesn't even exist.
I mean, like, hell, I started watching it this year, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was blown away. I mean, this thing is popping. I mean, these ladies be balling. Now, with all that being said, a lot of people feel like Caitlyn Clark is bigger than any NBA star. I believe they're right. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And this is another case of numbers not lying, dog.
But here's where it gets spicy. The NBA's young stars might be good at throwing down dunks, but where's their charm? Where's their magnetism? Caitlyn Clark doesn't just play basketball, she plays the crowd. She's got charisma oozing out of her sneakers, whether she's nailing a logo 3 or casually roasting opponents with a side eye that could cut glass. It's no wonder Simmons is comparing her to NBA players. It's just unfair to the guys at this point.
And I would go out on a limb here and say when it comes to fandom, when it comes to hype, when it comes to viewership, when it comes to all of those things, I think the only couple players that might be ahead of Caitlyn are players like LeBron James and Steph Curry. I definitely agree with Bill Simmons here. I think for sure she is that #1 player in that under 30 category.
This is 100% correct. Caitlyn Clark has surpassed most, if not all, of the NBA athletes in terms of popularity, fame, and influence. While the NBA's young guns are still figuring out how to balance flashy dunks with consistency, Clark is already a fully realized package. She's Steph Curry with a side of Sue Bird, a sharpshooter and a leader, rolled into one unstoppable force.
But when you're talking about building the next NBA star, they've been looking for that face of the league for a while. Anthony Edwards has been propped up, other players have been propped up, but none of them have impacted the way sports fans consume things like Caitlyn Clark, who changed the landscape of the WNBA.
And let's not ignore the snide comments from the sidelines. You just know there are critics out there scrambling to downplay Clark's accomplishments, trying to chalk up her success to the hype or media bias. But here's the truth. Caitlyn Clark is the real deal. She's not just riding the wave of attention, she's creating the wave.
Because every move they're making right now is based on her presence, her impact, the TV viewership she brings, the merch purchasing that she brings, everything that she brings. They're relying on that.
Clark's game has the whole world watching moves, and her accolades are just another proof of her incredible status as a basketball player.
Now, I'll be the first to tell you Bill Simmons is absolutely correct, bro. There is no player under 30 in the NBA that is more bigger than Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry. Ant Edwards maybe, but nah, he ain't bigger than Caitlin Clark, bro. He ain't transitioned the whole NBA like a MJ.
What makes this all the more fascinating is how Clark's collegiate fame has translated so seamlessly into her professional career. Simmons nailed it when he said, "You have this history with these women's players in college for 3 years, so when they come to the WNBA, you know what they can do." Clark arrived in the WNBA with a built-in fan base, a rarity in the sports world.
The rating says it all, bro. Take Caitlin and Giannis to China. Let's see who's bigger. Thank you, Heart that one. Somebody said take Caitlin and Giannis to China. Let's see who's bigger.
And don't even get me started on the haters. You just know there's a faction of bitter fans out there, scrambling to downplay her achievements. But the WNBA is different. They'll whine as if dominating a professional league as a rookie is somehow easy. Okay, haters, let's see your favorite NBA rookie break double-digit league records while carrying a franchise that hadn't seen playoffs in nearly a decade. Meanwhile, what's the narrative for the under 30 NBA crowd? Does Zion eat too much gumbo? Ja needs to stop flashing hardware on Instagram? Please. Caitlin Clark is out here writing her legacy in bold, capital letters, while her NBA counterparts are still figuring out how to use punctuation.
Not to say they aren't great players on their own, of course they are, but more attention was brought in from Clark. Obviously, more attention was brought to the WNBA because of Clark. Adam Silver is at the game, and the first post on his Instagram dump is of Caitlin Clark, and that's from an NBA game.
And the best part? Clark hasn't even hit her peak yet. She's just getting started. If this is what she can do as a rookie, imagine the chaos she'll unleash in her second season. Honestly, the NBA better take notes, because if Caitlin Clark's trajectory keeps climbing, she might just outshine the entire league. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Caitlin Clark the biggest under 30 star in basketball? Bill Simmons thinks so. Adam Silver seems to agree. And if you're being honest, deep down, you know it too. The debate is over, folks. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing the game, she's redefining it. And everyone else is just trying to keep up. What do you think? Is Caitlin Clark better than most NBA players or not? Does she have the potential to be the GOAT? Let us in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.